Hello and welcome to the Deep 3 podcast. This is your host, Matt, joined as always by Kevin and Sam. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Been a little bit of a hiatus, but we back.
Yeah.
So really quick, why don't we start this out? With which NBA star would you sign a 10-year contract with? Sam.
I think I'm going to go on Matt's side and favor Jason Tatum. Okay, I think the way he's been playing, kind of like out of this world. I don't want to be the basic person that picks the LeBron, the AD, the Giannis. That's easy. Everyone knows you're going to pick that. But let's be real. The guy of the future is going to be Jason Tatum. Let's get it.
I love it. Kevin.
What do we keep saying? Ladies and gentlemen, delusional. John Morant all day. Rookie is proven himself. He's good to go. He's going to be lasting a long time. And he's a champion. He's a leader. He's a good point guard. John Morant all day, baby.
He's a champ. Interesting. What, of AAU?
Oh, Kevin. So young, so naive. He'll learn the error of his ways eventually. Sam, why don't you hit us with those NBA updates?
Alrighty, boys. I think the first thing we got to acknowledge is, Vince Carter did retire. Man is 42. I believe he played 20 seasons, which is nuts, right? The man played in 4 different decades.
It's about time.
Yeah, I think Vince Carter, we can all agree, had a great first 8-10 years of his career, and then the last 10 kind of fell apart in terms of just what we knew Vince Carter for, right? High flying, Vincenity. That's kind of what we knew him for. The man never got a ring, but I do respect him in terms of not chasing, not just being a bench rider and just getting the ring. So I think the best thing is, what is your favorite memory, guys? Matt, we'll start with you.
My favorite memory was him retiring. That's probably my favorite memory.
Vince
Just
Carter,
coming out with the Vince Carter hate right away.
savages.
I won't lie. I don't watch a lot of Vince Carter. I know him and I respect him as a player, but these past years have been brutal to watch. So I'm kind of glad that he's done with.
Clickbait title: Matt glad Vince Carter's done.
Oh, clickbait for sure. Matt angrily hates Vince Carter over the past 10 years. Okay, well, I guess we'll just defer to Kevin on this one because we know one side of this.
All right. I gotta state the fact. I do kind of agree with Matt. I never grew up watching Vince Carter ever. I didn't watch him until the past couple of years, and then I was watching highlights of him in the '90s and stuff like that. It's crazy. But I gotta go with the biggest one, the default dunk contest, and what was it, '92? If I'm right, I don't know.
2000, sir. Check yourself.
Was it? I thought it was before that.
It was 2000.
We know basketball.
At least someone here knows what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, folks. We're going to need 2 new hosts. Apparently, no one knows basketball anymore.
Bye.
Okay, Kevin. So from that dunk contest, what was your favorite dunk out of that? Was it the honey dip? Or what were we doing?
Honey pot. Yeah, honey pot for sure. Then, even Shaq is on the sidelines, just mouth agape with the camera. It's so ridiculous. Oh my god, I loved it. It's so 2000s and 90s of a time period, and to watch those highlights, it's hysterical.
No, for sure. I think my favorite memory is the 2000 Olympics when he jumped over a 7'2" man in a game. All right, this is different than a dunk contest. In a game, little baby fro. Vince Carter jumping over a 7'2" man and almost punching and knocking out Kevin Garnett at the same time.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
I was just pure hype. This is the greatest thing I saw. This is the greatest thing I saw on live TV, right? This is 5-year-old Sean putting on an extra large jersey on himself. It's just basically a dress at this point, and just going mad when he did that. I definitely agree with Matt though. Vince Carter was very lackluster for probably most of his career. He only made 2 All-NBA teams, and they were only 3rd team. And they were guard positions, so it's kind of difficult. You have AI, T-Mac, kind of stuff like that. But I hear he's going to be continuing his podcast, so that'd be awesome to hear from him. He may even be a commentator, maybe on TNT, maybe join the guys. Who knows?
I think he'd be a great addition to that squad because I think he's, from what I've seen at least, he's like funny. He knows so much about the game though too. Like he's been around for, like we said, like what is it, 3 decades, 4 decades in the game? Like it's stupid. So I think he'd be a great addition to that TNT squad.
Yeah, he's got a lot of perspective.
Mm. And he's been on so many teams from like the bench to starting and dunk contests. He's been every part of the game. For sure.
It's to have him be the dunk contest judge and not Dwayne Wade ever again.
Aaron Gordon, we do not love you on this podcast, okay? I'll make that very clear.
Oh, no, I'm all about the Aaron Gordon. I'm not about the Dwayne Wade.
That's fair. Let's move on to some probably better news. I mean, Vince Carter, we love you, but you're done. You're done, all right? Get out of our lives. Damian Lillard made the 2K cover. Do we like that? Is he the right fit? Okay, Matt, you're already saying a no here. Who do you think should have made it then?
Why? Why? Where did that come from? I'm so confused. Like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. Of all the players, like, okay, yeah, like, put some spec on his name, sure, whatever. But, like, Damian Lillard of all people, like, weren't we not just talking about how Luka has had, like, one of the craziest seasons and one of, like, the best second, like, sophomore seasons ever? Like, were we not just talking about how the Lakers have been on fire? You could have had Anthony Davis on the cover. You could have had Kawhi Leonard on the cover. Why? Like, where is that? Like, there are so many different people that I would rather have on the 2K cover than Damian Lillard. Like, did they just put him on the cover because he was the one who was bitching the most this season? Like, I'm confused. Like,
Damian
what the hell?
No longer welcome on this podcast. Okay, so we got Matt's side. Kevin, what do you think? You think this is the right fit, or do you think this guy's way overrated in this position?
I think you guys know I respect the fuck out of Damian Lillard. I will always be in his corner. I kind of agree with Matt, though. There's a lot of players that could have been on here that could have been really, really good. I think those are perfect examples. Luka, AD. Like, there's so many other people. Russell Westbrook is the one I would have chosen. He was averaging over 30 points a game in 2020, and almost a triple double still. Like, dude, I don't care. Like, put Russell and James Harden on the cover together, like back to back or something like that. Dude, I want to see like a dynamic duo thing or something.
I was thinking about James Harden, but hasn't he already been on a cover?
So he was on a cover when it came to NBA Live, which no longer exists for at least 2 more years.
Oh yeah, then put James Harden on the cover. What the fuck?
Yeah, Russell also made a cover back in OKC, but that was like in 2010. Yeah, I mean, like 2 MVP candidates that are eligible to make a cover, then they're like, I don't know. You know who's a great fit? Damian Lillard, the guy who complains that they deserve a better spot in the playoffs, even though they've been very lackluster this season.
Exactly. I think 2K is selling out a little bit because Damian Lillard helps out with the soundtracks because he's Dame Dalla and he's cool and he's a rapper and he's selling out to 2K. So they're like, okay, we'll give him a cover. Cool.
I mean, let's be real. I would rather have Travis Scott on this cover than Damian Lillard. Like, I'd rather have a non-basketball player at this point. Just being real. Like Travis Scott gets way more attention than like Damian Lillard. And did you see the pose he did on the cover? It's like a between the legs dunk. Like Damian Lillard, you don't do that in a game. Like, you're a point guard. Like, what are you doing?
You're a fucking point guard.
That's amazing. Oh my god.
And we did see the other covers, especially for the next gen consoles, which I thought was really tacky in my opinion. Like, I get what they're doing, but it's like why at this point? We saw Zion make the cover. Do we think that's a good fit, or do you think Ja probably should have deserved it, or maybe Jason Tatum or Luka, just being still young still?
I think that's a perfect one for Luka. Otherwise, I would have liked to see Ja. Again, I saw a meme about it the other day of like LeBron doesn't get a cover for like 10 years while he plays, and then Zion gets a cover after 13 games or 14 games? Like, absolutely ridiculous.
Welcome to modern day hype.
Yeah.
Welcome to modern day hype, folks. We have a player who has literally blown us away in like his first, like, what was it, 19 games or something like that? Like, he hasn't even played a full season and he gets a 2K cover. Like, welcome to media hype. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I was saying about the MVP candidacy and stuff like that and the Rookie of the Year candidacy. I called it. I called it from the very beginning of this, that we started this podcast. I knew that if Zion is going to play this year, you can give it to him. You can give Rookie of the Year to him. It does not matter whether or not Ja is going to play his heart out or whatever. He had a great rookie season, don't get me wrong, but it's going to Zion. He's going to play and it's going to him. So why not?
That's fair. I think going along Kevin's idea for like a duo on a cover, like imagine like Ja Morant, like Zion cover,
that'd be cool.
Zion going for a dunk. Yeah, like I mean, I think that's just out of like pure respect for both guys just playing really well. Yes, Zion didn't play much, but like from what we saw, like he put up some ridiculous stats, and just like this physique is ridiculous. But we can all agree that this man is here to destroy this entire league, no matter who you are. Obviously, I mean, I guess well deserved Zion, but I mean, I would hope you play more than 20 games next season. I mean, stop eating the beignets. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep saying that until he drops 50 pounds, all right?
Are you kidding me? Have you seen pictures of him recently? The dude is jacked, man.
Hold on, Matt. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. All right. We'll get there. Lastly, I think out of respect, Kobe made the Legendary Edition cover. I think I can speak for all of us. We're going to all have to get that game, right? Like just out of Kobe's respect.
No, I'm gonna buy the cover, the one with the where he's wearing like the 8 jersey, because that looks dope as hell. I will 100% buy the physical copy of that because that looks awesome.
For sure. Speaking of your Zion take, Zion did make a statement saying that he's very ready to do some serious damage, with the season restart. We'll start with Matt. How hard do you think he should play in terms of the playoff success?
Fucking go ham. I want you to dunk over people. I want you to disrespect their dead corpse as they lie on the floor in utter bewilderment. That's what I want. I want him to destroy people. You're on the cover of 2K now. It's all you. It's all you.
That's true.
Honestly, though, if you guys have seen recent pictures, which, by the way, I love the clapback of him wearing a mask while working out. And he's just like, if Zion can lift weights and get a fucking workout in while wearing a mask, y'all should do it too. And you all should fuck off if you're not doing it. But like, in retrospect, fucking just looking at him, just looking at his physique is so much different from when like the season ended. Like he's still a big guy, except now he's a big guy who is jacked as shit. Like he obviously put in the work. He obviously wants this playoff run to go well. He wants to like be a better player and shit. And I am so ready. I don't care if they lose. I don't care if they lose in the playoffs. I want Zion to go so fucking ham. I want him to dunk over LeBron James. I want him to dunk over Kawhi Leonard. Fuck these hoes up. Let's go.
So Matt's just cutting ties with every NBA player at this point. It's getting a little heated here. Kevin, from the Pelicans' perspective, right, when it comes to management, coaching staff, even trainers, do you think they should continue just pacing him? I know they were trying to give him more minutes, but obviously COVID happened. No games were played. He was the first to actually receive his Peloton bike from the team, obviously for good reason. Do you think they should pace him, or do you think they should just let the bird free at this point?
I think at this point, you need to get into the playoffs, and that's your number one priority now as the Pelicans. And to get further, you need to let Zion free and let him do his job. You need to give him starting minutes. God damn it. I mean, maybe limited a little bit at first, but as he goes on and you see him staying healthy, then just give him whatever he needs to help the team out most.
Gotcha. No, for sure. I think we
laugh at how they gave him a Peloton bike and there was no Peloton video. This Zion just waking up first day. Oh, well, first day of Peloton, guys. Just gonna do this here. 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's get it.
Sure. And let's be real, he was probably benching it instead of actually riding on it. Like, that guy's jacked right now. Along with that, what was that?
So to say the least, yeah.
For sure. The NBA and the NBPA have decided, even though we have a lot of cases, which we'll discuss further on, they decided still that they're going to continue the season. Obviously, Florida being backwards as a state and just having a high infection rate. They said over 10 days, it went from 5% to 15%, which is ridiculous, right? Just like as a population, I couldn't even imagine that. And they say that in the bubble, they're going to use ex-special forces and law enforcement to control players. Matt, yeah, with that concerning face, like, what do you think about this? Are we just living in like a camp of some sort?
I'm sorry, what? Did you just say ex-military and police?
Yes, sir.
So it turns out that Orlando is now a military state. This is going to be quite interesting. I'm not going to lie. That's such overkill. That's such an overkill. Why? Like, what's? Go to Kevin. I can't.
Kevin, what do you think? Do you think this is getting way out of hand? You know, doubles ping pong was canceled. All right, that was a big deal. You know, amongst the NBA.
I think it's a fine line when there are still protests going on about police brutality, and then you bring in more police for the special cause. It's a risky move. I don't know if it's the right move, but
No, for sure.
I want to just get in their face and just tell them to fuck off. Like, that's all I want. That's all I want in my life.
No, for sure. Look, I think we can all agree the NBA, yes, they did want their money and the players want their money, but I think they're doing the best within the short timeline they're given to develop some sort of plan. I was telling Kevin about this earlier. I was like, I'm like genuinely surprised, and like I gotta give props to like Adam Silver and the gang for just like having a plan done and ready within a month. But I definitely agree, just with especially with like recent protests, and honestly, just with the virus itself. Like, why would you have more people in the bubble than what you need? I mean, honestly, let's be real. Do we really need the 22 teams? We'll talk about it later about how a lot of players are sitting out and destroying some of these teams. I hope the season continues, just obviously from a fan standpoint, but I won't be surprised if maybe at some point it might get out of hand and we might have to cancel the season. Along those lines, with Disney World becoming a military base at this point, there is a second bubble in Kevin's and Matt's area of Chicago, but it's going to be at the bottom feeding teams in Chicago. Kevin, do you think this is even worth it for those teams? Like, should they be able to train and practice, or do you think this is just kind of a waste of time?
I'm torn because I think in general it's kind of a waste of time. Like, I don't know if anyone's going to even watch those teams other than the hardcore fans of those teams. I think the players and stuff might want to play and want to practice and things like that. But like, is it worth it to create this whole separate entity just for the bad teams? I don't know. I don't think you get much benefit from that.
That's fair. I mean, Matt, are you not interested in watching your Chicago Bulls play like the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Man, I've been waiting all year for a game like that. I'm so excited to watch Okay, look. I think they should definitely still play just because it's in their defense, they should still be able to play because the season was cut short, So if you want to make sure that these players are still healthy for the next season and whatnot, and if they want to play, kudos to them. It's a way that the general managers and the owners of the leagues can actually get at least a little bit of income. Like Kevin said, it's probably going to be the hardcore fans that watch it, but that's still viewers, right? Like, that's still viewerships. And if they're smart about it, they're going to have the games be played on days that like the playoffs aren't happening. So let's be honest. How many months of basketball have we missed? Like 4 or 5, something like that. Mm-hmm. You're going to tell me that like let's just say Monday there's a game for playoffs, and then Tuesday there's like the Bulls against the Cavaliers. You're gonna tell me you're not gonna watch that because you're bored out of your mind? Like, I mean, it's basketball, right? Like, they're gonna get viewers as long as they play it smart. Yeah, why not? Let them play. Fuck it.
All right, then, no, that's fair. I definitely agree with your point, especially in terms of like the revenue. You know, those players who want to play but can't because they missed the playoffs are not going to get any money. So this is a great opportunity for them to at least recuperate some funds.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Knicks player, you know, at that point you just kind of just give up. Right at that
Yeah.
point. Don't worry, your future coach Tom Froggy Throat Thibodeau, will be there soon. Along with that, you know, the NBA did release their schedule starting today, July 7th. You know, some teams are traveling 8th, and then 9th will be the majority of the teams, especially like the better teams. They'll be allocated to their hotels based on whatever rank they were. Kevin, what do you think in terms of player health and strength? Do you think these guys are ready? You know, next 2 or 3 weeks, you know, the season's going to start. You know, are these guys even ready for that?
I think what they've done, like they released the scrimmage schedule too, of they're going to have full scrimmages before any of the actual games start. And I think that's a great thing to make sure the players are healthy for full minutes and everything like that. But I think in general, they've had a lot of time. They've known about this for a while. Like this has been known since probably the beginning, at least the beginning of June, if not middle of May. This has been talked about and discussed that this was probably going to happen. So I think players have had a while to really get into shape and actually get back to where they were before. I think it's going to be a couple rusty games the first week, but I think in shape wise, I think most of the players will be at 90%.
Interesting. 90%. Okay. Because, you know, there's been some cases for some of the practice facilities that they shut down, obviously, with staff members and players getting infections. For example, the Bucks, especially, you know, Giannis he doesn't have a court at home. He's just chilling with his little baby, just vibing, making TikToks. Matt, what do you think? Do you think there's some real concern here just with the season, you know, coming up? Yes, there's going to be scrimmage, but, you know, these guys haven't played really. Besides LeBron, you know, we see his Instagram post.
I mean, I'm not concerned. I'm not super like. Look, if you're an NBA player and you aren't working out or staying healthy during this entire thing, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have so much money, you can afford an in-gym, like in your home. There's no way you can't, and you could definitely afford private time on a court. Like, there's no way in hell, there's no excuse for these players to just slack off and not do anything. Prime example, Jokic, Zion, like fucking hell, like Jesus Christ, like they definitely should still be at least a little bit active. For the players who weren't active and who weren't healthy, I have my worries about Luka. There are a few reports saying that he hasn't really been doing much, which terrifies me. Terrifies me to the extreme. But the fact of the matter is, if they're not staying healthy, if they're not working out, if they're not doing what they have to do for, you know, the salary that they're making, like even the low tier players who are still making hundreds of thousands of dollars, like you kind of fucked yourself there. Like you need to do this. This is literally your life, like your career. You need to be in the gym. You need to be working out. If you are not ready to be playing basketball when this season starts, you know, with COVID aside, just like in general health and whatnot, that's your own fault. That is your own fault.
Gotcha. No, for sure. And I think along those lines, just in terms of Jokic, the man did test negative, which is very nice. But he did miss his flight to join the team in Orlando. So you know who they're sending, boys. Right here, 5'7" starting center. Let's get it. Sandman. All right, let's get it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, let's be real. I'm probably thicker than Jokic at this point, right? I mean, Jokic is like 70 pounds. I mean, let's be real.
I
I would pay $1,000 to see Zion Williamson run you over at full speed.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done. Let's do it.
Have we actually seen Jokic? Like, okay, I know we've seen pictures of him, but there are pictures of him wearing like a suit, you know? Have we seen him like in actual athletic wear? Like, do we know the muscles that are underneath the suit? That's what I want to see, man. I want to see if he's got like that Kevin Durant, like jacked, you know? I want to see if he's actually ripped underneath that. Because if he is, he's going to be plowing through people at a very fast pace.
For sure. I don't know if you guys saw Marc Gasol was looking very slim, especially at his age.
Yeah, dude got ripped.
Dude definitely got very fit. There was a reporter that interviewed him. He used to play in Memphis, obviously. One of the Memphis reporters came and interviewed him and was like, so like, come on, tell us your secret and everything. And he's like, you know, in my case, the camera made me lose 10 pounds. So I'm curious how many cameras were on him at that point. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I think even more exciting is that the NBA released their schedule. And the first game, Jazz Pelicans and then Clippers Lakers. Personally, I think the Jazz Pelicans game, I don't want the Jazz personally. I want the Pelicans, but I want a better team. You know, maybe a Rockets or something, just to see like two clashes of the juggernauts, you know, just go at it. How do we feel? You think this is the perfect setup for games, or we thinking that? All right. Kevin, what do you think?
I would have loved to see the Pelicans and the Lakers the first round, but since everything is so different now, I really think that the Pelicans can beat the Jazz. Because the Jazz is like of such a media, I don't know, like they had a great season, obviously, but when you look at their roster, it's like meh. And then you have like a fully jacked Zion. You have Brandon Ingram, who's been having an incredible season. You have all of these pieces that have just been helping and improving Zion's game. Like, I want to see the Pelicans make it as far as they can in the playoffs. I want to see the Pelicans so much more than I want to see the Jazz.
For sure. Kevin, what do you think? Do you think you want something a little bit more spicy, or do you think this is enough spice to get us kind of teased into the season again?
I think it's a great tease because I think, like we said before, the hype around Zion, infinite. It's so high. Like, so if we can see any glimpse of Zion and the rest of the Pelicans team, I think that's going to feed everyone so much because no one's had basketball in so long. And then Clippers Lakers, couldn't have a better game for LeBron and AD to shut down Kawhi and PG. Let's get it. Let's get it.
As soon as Zion dunks over Rudy Gobert, I will be jumping up and down, screaming, like, get wrecked. Rudy goes down, baby. Fuck off.
Dang.
I mean, basically, Zion would be our vaccine, right? Because he just killed off the coronavirus at that point.
Yeah.
Don't touch the microphones, kids. Don't touch the microphones, right?
Nope.
Along those lines, they did release some other games, but they're just more general games. You know, Orlando Nets, no one's going to watch that. Grizzlies, Blazers, I mean, salty team versus John Morant. Suns, Wizards, trash. Celtics, Bucks, that'll be very interesting.
That'll be good.
And Rockets, Mavericks, that'll be pretty good.
Yeah, those are the two that I want to watch on the 31st. I mean, like most people. Rockets, Mavericks especially. Giannis, I know what Giannis play looks like. It's fun to watch, but I'd rather watch the Rockets Mavericks game for sure.
Gotcha. Along these lines, you know, especially with, you know, BLM being more prominent for this league, they want to showcase it writing on the court, you know, on the jersey and stuff. The NBA is also allowing for people to, instead of have their name, they can have a message on that. Kevin and I talked about it because there was a recent incident, possibly on Twitter, with John Morant. This is not to be political. I'm just reading what it was stated. I don't know, Matt, if you've heard it or not, but the whole concept, because, you know, John Morant's number 2. So someone photoshopped it and put a 1 in front of it and then put fuck basically as his name. So, you know, fuck 12, obviously hate the police. And John Morant actually liked it and it was big controversy. Sadly in terms of comedy purposes, you're not allowed to do that. You know, for some reason, vulgarity is not allowed, right? You know, it's ridiculous. But I'm going to shoot you guys some names. You let me know if this is too comical or an actual good point. Kevin, you might like this one as well. Group economics. What are we feeling here?
I love that was a specific approved name on the approved names list. Was that something someone had to have submitted to them and had to get approved? Like, or was that just like, oh, maybe someone will put group economics on their jersey? Like, that's sounds ridiculous. Maybe I'm just missing something, and maybe it's actually have some context that I'm just completely oblivious to. But what the fuck?
For sure. Matt, what do you think about this group economics? I don't know if you have much context on it either. I don't. I tried looking it up, but I wasn't getting anything. What do you think?
This went right over my head. I feel like such a moron. I have no idea.
Gotcha. No, that's fair. There are some good ones, obviously. Say her name, for Breonna Taylor, especially. Even just vote, like I said, once again, I'm going to tell you right at the end of this podcast too, please vote. It really does matter. Us young bloods, I know we don't want to wait in the lines, but trust me, the people waiting in lines are just old people who have nothing else to do in their lives, okay? I'm just saying that, all right? Old people, don't be mad at me. Be mad at me, don't add me, all right? Let's just be real. I like the idea that the NBA is allowing, these kind of messages, but Kevin, we'll start with you. What do you think is the next step that they should do to, allow these players to be more vocal? I know we can have the names on our back, but, writing can only do so much. Action would be really important, in my opinion.
I think a big thing is just give players time to speak about certain issues, whether that be maybe at like halftime each game, like some different player gets to talk about something, or at the end of the game, in player interviews, maybe the interviewers are a little more have a little more serious questions with serious tones, like, oh, like, what do you think about the like Black Lives Matter stuff, and like, what's your take on this, blah blah blah, just so that they can get other viewpoints of the players out there and spoken, instead of just like letting them have a pre-approved name on their jerseys or writing Black Lives Matter on the court. Like, those are all good things, but they don't do much, I guess.
Gotcha. Matt, what do you think? What do you think is the next step for this?
I like the idea of having like players speak out. I think you need to pick and choose which players should speak out, because some might not be as coherent, or might not like have a good point, or maybe not be able to speak as well as some of the other players, like LeBron. Like, LeBron's a really great public speaker. I would definitely have him, or even Chris Paul, president of the Players Association. That would be a great idea. Get Kyrie as far away from there as possible. Other than that, I would probably say donations. Like there are so many players here who are making millions and millions of dollars, and having any kind of really great donation to Black Lives Matter movement, to Black-owned businesses and stuff like that, like, that's extremely important. And I think you're like putting your money where your mouth is probably the best thing that these guys can do, essentially.
Gotcha. Along those lines, now that I'm thinking about it, what if they did like the All-Star game? They did like each quarter was some sort of donation amount for that team. What if the NBA did that as a way of splitting their revenue? Obviously they need the revenue to stay alive, but I mean, let's be honest. Like, there's a bigger message on hand right now, and it'd be a great opportunity for obviously help the Black Lives movement, but also build that reputation that the NBA is also supporting the community. Because obviously, I mean, let's be real. This game is really now based on Black American and Black players, really making this game really entertaining for all of us. But yeah, I think it'd be a really great idea if they take on the similar All-Star format where each quarter, whoever wins a quarter, that team can donate, so much, maybe $50,000, $100,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
But, along those lines, it'd be really interesting, kind of going from Kevin's point, to have more of a vocal platform. And I agree with you, Matt. I think people who want to be outspoken, it might cross some lines, or it may not get the right message out. So it might be really good to have someone like a CP3, or even like a Mello. Kind of like the. I don't know if you guys saw that cover from Slam Magazine with him and his son. That thing gave me chills. That was really good. Really recommend anyone to look at it. Kevin, I think I sent it to you maybe, but I think it was a really cool message, just saying like it's enough, because it kind of shows what Carmelo went through as a kid and now what his kid has to see growing up now. Once again, I really recommend reading the article too. It's really good. Lastly, before we get to our next segment, there were 16 out of 302 players. That's now moved up to around 25. So around 9% of the league has tested positive in terms of players. I heard there's a lot of staff from different teams that have also tested positive, and that led to a lot of facilities shutting down. Apparently, none of them are super serious, but they did just contract the virus. However, Adam Silver said that he's still confident with moving on with the season. Matt, how confident do you think we feel about having 22 teams? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think we should just go into the straight 16 at this point?
I think for viewership, 22 teams is the better option. Mm-hmm. To hold down the virus and to make sure that everybody is safe from COVID, obviously you want smaller the better, the 16. But it seems like they're doing a really good job on cracking down and just making sure that everybody's healthy. So as long as that's the case, 22 teams seems like the best option, just because, again, 4 or 5 months without basketball, that's a lot of that is actually a lot of season that we missed. We missed like what, two months of basketball essentially in the season. Mm-hmm. Like whether or not, the teams like the Bulls or or like, I don't know, fucking Knicks or anything like that, obviously they're not going to make the playoffs, but teams like the Pelicans or the Grizzlies or anything like that who are on the cusp of making the playoffs or might actually fall out of the playoffs game, it's nice to have teams like that into the mix, because now we can actually watch more of them and actually see if they're worth hitting that playoff spot. So yeah, as long as they control everything, then that's great. Just be careful of the police and military, because last thing we want on the news is this NBA player was shot because this fucking police officer is a moron. Let's not do this. Let's be careful here, boys.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be a lot of security around that ping pong table. I'm telling you, okay? They're going to super regulate that, okay? I promise you.
What are you doing? Doubles? Get down.
I mean, let's be real. I think the police officer is going to dress up as like the Disney character, like Mickey Mouse, without like the Glock coming out. Don't worry, everyone. It's a joke. All right, we're not taking this so lightly. Okay, it's a joke. And I guess there won't be any courtroom this week. We won't take it a little easy. Obviously no basketball yet, but next few weeks we're going to bring back the heat. But let's move on to our next segment. Bubble Dropout. Is that the name? Maybe it's a name. Bubble Dropout. Let's get it.